Happy Booker season. I am still reeling from the announcement this morning. So it is, 5 hours since the long list was officially announced. Oh, if I said what I'm doing in this video, I'm going to be reading Booker books for a week. Hi, my name is Sarah Freshly and welcome back to Freshly Read Books. So last week I focused on books that were longlisted for the Women's Prize. I think I only read 2 of them actually, but one of them was very long. This week I'm going to be focusing on Booker Prize. My goal is to read 3 at least, so that I can say that I did better than last week. And I feel like if I pick the right books that is totally doable. I feel like there's not as many that I am that really pique my interest. Usually I get maybe 4 or 5 that I'm like, oh, I really want to read those. And I feel like I only have 1 that I would see myself picking up outside of the prize. There's others that I'm interested in and, interested enough that since they're longlisted, I'm going to read them. But I think that there's just not as many this year that I'm super excited about. So since it was announced, I went through and just kind of saw what was available for my library, what was available on Scribd. So the one that I kind of alluded to that I'm most excited about is Time Shelter, which luckily is available through my library. It's just the audiobook, but still, I'll take it. And then besides that, Ninth Building, Pyre, The Birthday Party, The Gospel According to the New World, I think, and Boulder are all available for me either through the library or through Scribd. So I think I'm going to start off by listening to Time Shelter, and then I think that I'm also going to have a book that I'll be reading physically. And I'm kind of torn between Boulder and Ninth Building to start off. I think I'll start with Boulder though. It's a very short book, so I feel like that'll be a nice quick win. And then maybe once I'm done with Boulder, heading on to Ninth Building, but we'll see. Quick reading update. Yesterday, did I do anything yesterday besides work? Yes, I was in a live stream yesterday on Kieran Reader's channel, so go check that out. We were joined by Kieran and Alyssa and talked about all our thoughts on the International Booker long list, so I'll link that in the description if you haven't seen it yet and you'd like to. I also just got some book mail, and by book mail, I mean just the rentals that I got from the library. Okay, first one is Pod. I'm so excited about this one. This is probably going to be the next book that I read for the Women's Prize when I get back to that. And then the other one is Memphis. So I guess let's talk about the books I'm actually reading for this video. I've started 2 of them. So I started Time Shelter first and listened to, I think, 10% of it. And it's pretty good so far. Basically, it's about this clinic where they treat Alzheimer's patients by having different levels be different time periods. So that should help with their mental state. I think their writing style is very straightforward without being too hand-holdy, going through it. And so far it's been a pretty easy read, pretty easy listen. And then the other one I'm reading right now is Boulder, which I am halfway through and hoping to just kind of finish the rest of it today since it's so short. But I just, right now, I am just not liking it. And I've heard that the ending is better. Somebody had said that the last third of it was easier for them to read than the beginning. And so I'm hoping that that happens soon. So it's about this woman that works on this boat, and then while she's in Chile or somewhere in South America, she meets this woman, Samsa, I think was her name, who is Scandinavian, and they, hit off a relationship, but then she ends up moving with Samsa to Iceland, which is not really a place that she ever thought herself of living in. She also doesn't have a name, but they kind of nickname her Boulder, which is where the name of the book comes from. And Samsa wants to have a baby, but Boulder never really saw herself doing that, doesn't like children at all, but decides to anyways purely to hold on to Samsa. And that's kind of what the story's about. I think that where the disconnect is for me to why I'm not enjoying it is one, the language is super flowery. I do think it's pretty beautiful writing, but I think it's too much for me personally, which makes me really glad that it's only 100 pages because I don't think I could read a longer book of this already. I'm this is too much of this writing. But also our protagonist kind of just kills me. She's so selfish and doesn't really have a ton of redeeming qualities. I think it's totally okay to not want kids, and I think that that's a really valuable thing to know about yourself, and it's great that this character knows that about herself. But then the way she just kind of is oh, maybe I can go along with it because I can't possibly leave Samsa, seems to me kind of selfish, because now like, it's selfish towards Samsa because she's not going to be like the best partner for this situation, or even necessarily like a good partner for this situation if she doesn't want kids. And it's bad for the kid because now that like that child is growing up with where one of her mothers like didn't really want her to begin with. And of course, like, it's possible to get past that, but it's not like the best setup, you know, for a family. And she kind of just like willingly goes into this purely because like she's like, well, I can't lose Samsa. And also just like some of the things that she does, it's just like, I don't know why she likes Samsa. She barely says anything nice about her. And I think that otherwise, like, the protagonist would seem not selfish because a lot of what she's doing is like purely for Samsa. But I think that she's kind of lying to Samsa that like she will do those things and she will be this person that Samsa wants her to be, even though her heart's not in it. And this goes beyond like the baby, and that's not really the person that she is. And so she's forcing herself into this person that she's not going to be able to play forever. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's where I'm at. All right, so it's day 3 of this. So it's Wednesday. Nope, it's Thursday. Wow. And I just had to update you, although I think it'll be a quick one. I went to Run Club yesterday, stopped off by the little library, as I always do, dropped off a book, and then picked up Wuthering Heights. I have not gotten a book from the little library in my neighborhood in like a year. So yeah, to find like a book that I actually want to read in there is great. I'm very excited about it. Anyway, so I didn't end up reading anything else, I don't think, yesterday. But I did read the rest of Boulder this morning, and I didn't like it. I do think that the ending is a little bit better, like it makes up for a little bit of what I didn't like, but overall, still, I was so bored reading it. And it's not even like that the story itself is boring, it's that the way that it's written is boring, because a lot is happening and a large span of time is going by for it being, you know, such a short novel, but I was not a fan. So not a great start to International Booker, but it's cool. I think originally I was thinking of going to Ninth Building next, but I might just jump to Pyre because I feel like a lot of people are talking about it and I just want to be like a part of the conversation. So yeah, I think that's where I'll go from here. And then obviously continue listening to Time Shelter. So it's Friday and it's actually St. Patrick's Day as well. We're going over to a friend's house for a St. Patrick's Day party and just to kind of have fun, play some games, eat some Irish food, drink some Jameson, living the dream. Besides work, I've done nothing since the last time I talked to you, but I have read, so that's not nothing. I ended up just finishing Time Shelter just entirely. I didn't mean to. I thought I was going to prioritize Pyre more, but then I just got really sucked into the audiobook for Time Shelter, and I love it. I loved that book. I think that it diverted more from the premise than I expected it to, but I really liked what it ended up doing. It ended up being like a lot more politically involved and talking about like the history of several different countries, how those countries feel about those histories, which one would be like their ideal, you know, time to go back to, and like all this kind of stuff. And I just found it so fascinating. But not only that, I think that it also said a lot about how we view the past and about nostalgia just in general. And the book did a really good job of bringing up different like arguments, viewpoints, all of that. The only thing that I wish is that it added a little bit more into like different races and how they would feel, because obviously different nationalities are going to feel differently. And depending on how old you are, you're going to feel differently, because oftentimes people like the time period that they grew up in the most. So like we get those perspectives, but we don't really get like perspectives from different races and how they would feel. You know, depending on what race you are, that could make like the 30s to the 40s very different for one person versus another. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's like the only thing that I think it could have changed to make the book better for me. Other than that though, I think it was really great. And so now my focus is on Pyre, which I've read just a little over a chapter of so far. So I'm like 10% of the way through the book. And I don't have like full thoughts yet. From what I remember of the synopsis and really what's happened so far is we're following a married couple that has like just gotten married, and they're traveling to his
hometown. This is set in India, and she is from a different caste than he is, and it's very like frowned upon to marry in different castes. And so I think that the move is to lie about her being in a different caste, but it kind of seems like based off the first chapter, people are gonna know right away. It was literally like the first person they run into is like, she's not from this caste. So yeah, I don't know how much like that part of it will be something, or if it's gonna be more like people know and just kind of like dealing with that. So it's Saturday now, had a lovely St. Patrick's Day yesterday. I didn't get a lot of footage, but there are fun drinks, great food, and a lot of Mario Kart. Like a lot of Mario Kart. And then today I'm gonna be hanging out with some of the people that were there at a Lightning game. That's the Tampa Bay Lightning, that's hockey. I also did some organization today, which was good. And then I did do some reading this morning, like right when I woke up. Although I didn't read a ton. I was kind of hoping to get to the halfway point in Pyre today, but I'm kind of struggling with this one because it is very readable, but I'm not very invested. Like, I feel like it's telling us a lot about the main characters, but I don't really know anything in depth about them, so it's making it hard to like connect to them personality-wise and everything. Like, I feel like I only know this situation that they're going through and not like who they actually are. You know what I mean? And it's just making it feel like I'm very removed from them, and I'm just like watching like the actions that are playing out and nothing more. I do feel really, really bad for the girl because she's in a very weird position and it seems super uncomfortable. Maybe not exactly what she was expecting. Maybe there wasn't a lot of disclosure about what she should expect before she got to this point. But yeah, we'll see where it goes from here. But I'm off to the hockey game for now, so. Coffee shop. I don't know why I feel like it's incredibly early. It's not. It's like 9:40. But we stayed up really late last night after the game. After we came home too, it wasn't like we were out. We just didn't go to sleep. Curtis got a new PS5 because his birthday's coming up, and so he got that as a little gift to himself. And so he was playing that for a bit, and I played it a little bit as well. But yeah, that just resulted in us not going to sleep until super late. But now I am headed to a coffee shop to do like a silent book club, which is, as far as I can tell, you like meet up, you chat for a little bit, and then everybody just sits and reads like just near each other, which is honestly like my ideal hangout situation. Like, if we can't be playing board games, I'd love to like not talk and read. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm really excited about it. I have another friend that's going as well, and it's both of our first time, so that'll be nice. So just finished up the silent book club. It was so lovely. There were so many people. They've said it's been growing a lot though recently. And also the coffee shop was wonderful, Gingerbeard Coffee. And it's also like a bar slash brewery later in the day, which I wouldn't mind checking out as well. But it was just so nice. The people there were great. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed this experience, and I'm really excited to come back next month and do it again. But I really wish they met like twice a month instead of just once a month. But anyways, I didn't finish Pyre. I don't know why I thought I'd be able to. I don't know if I actually said that in the video, but in my mind, I was like, I'll be able to finish Pyre while there. Absolutely not. I am like 2/3 of the way done with it now. And it's kind of boring. I do still think that I classify it as being readable, but it just feels like it's saying like the same thing over and over. Like, we get glimpses of the past for our two main characters, and then it just talks about the present and like how everybody is like against them and like all this, and it's just like the same things being said by different people. Oddly, it's reminding me a lot of Boulder because It's like about a couple that basically fell in love at first sight and didn't really know much else about each other, and I still don't really know why they love each other. I just have to accept that they do, and that that's the basis for the rest of the story and like problems that arise. It'd be easier if they didn't. So yeah, maybe the International Booker judges this year are just really into love at first sight and the problems that it causes. It's not one of my favorite things personally, as evidenced by not liking Boulder at all and not loving Pyre so far. So yeah, this video might be like book I hate, book I love, book I hate, which is fun.
Hello again. I'm filming a lot of like little clips for things and my mind is starting to turn to mush. But I realized that I never finished this video. I haven't done like the wrap up of Pyre and like the outro of this video, but I did finish reading Pyre that day that I went to the silent book club. Not because I was excited about finishing it, but because I just like wanted to be done with it. I didn't really like that book. I found it hugely repetitive. I'm really sad because I thought that that was going to be a book that I would like. As I said, like none of the books on the long list I was like super looking forward to, with the exception of Time Shelter. But I did feel like Pyre was somehow this like safe bet that I just would like it. And I didn't. I will say that the ending is, I don't know how to say this without like spoiling anything. It's more interesting than the rest of the book. That's the only way I'll put it, because I don't want you to at all know what's gonna happen, but it definitely isn't a part of the repetitive nature of the rest of the book. Something different happens. But yeah, it just felt like the entire book was just like people being upset about the intercaste marriage and just being really rude about it. I do think that there's a little bit of explanation as to like why, what that comes from, and like seeing their point of view as well as seeing the couple's point of view. But with the exception of that, there wasn't a lot of like nuance, it felt like, to the situation. And so I just didn't like this one very much, which is unfortunate. But yeah, that is going to do it for my week of International Booker. I am probably gonna hold off on reading any more from International Booker until the shortlist is announced, just because I'm not super excited about any of the books, and there are other prize lists where I am excited about the books. So I'm gonna focus on those until the shortlist comes out. So I hope that you did enjoy coming along. If you've made it this far, could you let me know what types of reading vlogs you like best? I tried to include a little bit more from my actual life in this one, and I'm trying to get like better at doing that instead of like just doing the reading updates. But is that something that you like to see? Do you like seeing little bits of people's lives outside of the reading, or do you just like the pure reading updates? Please let me know, because I'm trying to figure this thing out and get better at it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please do consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.